It is Thursday, Parshas Koyach Gimel Tammuz, Tov Shim Pai Vov Gimel Tammuz, June 18th, 2026. My name is Gershy Schwarcz and I'm your host on Edge.
Your daily report of the news of the last 24 hours, powered by Yiddish24, provided to you by The Click.
Who's doing a Verbringen? Doing a Verbringen? Anyway, Gimel Tammuz, the Yurtzeit of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, 32nd Yurtzeit today, not a joke. Outside of Evergreen in Monsey, somebody spotted a big, huge billboard saying, Trump is afeard, in Yiddish. Yeah, do you know what that means? It's a stretch. The picture is actually stretched as well. Anyway, the United States and Iran signed their Memorandum of Agreement. Trump just signed the Memorandum of Agreement, the Islamabad Memorandum of Agreement, and Pakistan is all proud about it. J.D. Vance somehow is all proud about it, all over the place, celebrating the big news, which supposedly is supposed to stop the war on all fronts and open the Strait of Hormuz, which isn't open yet. The problem is, a lot of people are criticizing it on all fronts too. Today we'll break down what is in it, and why it's making people nervous. And today as well, the Israeli military, despite the Memorandum of Agreement that was signed, they released a new map of its security buffer zone in Lebanon. They plan to stay there, even though the agreement was signed. They don't care. And Trump said he made America billions of dollars. Which president has done that after helping technology companies like Intel make and produce more chips here in America? That and more coming up. But today's news is brought to you by who? Halo. Halo 2 is a high-functioning water. Why? Because it has a pH level of 9+. So when you think about it, your body needs at least 7.5 pH. And if you don't, then your body might be susceptible to viruses and stuff like that. But with a pH of 9+, you literally protect yourself from these viruses entering your body and your sacred space. Yes, so drink good water and healthy water, alkalinized water. Can you say that? Try to say that 3 times fast. Halo 2. And you can find it everywhere, in every grocery. And it's also kosher, has a great hechsher. So, Halo 2, high-functioning water, the best water you can get. Let's jump into the news, shall we? Okay, let's see what happened. The United States and Iran just signed the Memorandum of Agreement. One day before they were supposed to formally meet in Geneva. Well, they're still probably going to meet in Geneva, they say, tomorrow, because there's a formal sort of celebration they need to make. US President Donald J. Trump signed the deal himself while he was sitting in front of many presidents and prime ministers at the G7 summit in France. In Iran, President Masoud Pezeshkian electronically signed it afterwards as well. Now, the right question, they signed it in 2 languages, in Persian and also in English. Now, the right question is to ask why. Isn't why, but what and how. Okay, so what were the contents of the final agreement? Now, I read it word for word, and how this will affect the world. Okay, so let me walk you through the 14-point document. Okay, first, they want to stop the war on all fronts. They want to. Great. This includes any military operation between their allies, yes, including Israel and Lebanon. But the problem is, Israel isn't fighting Lebanon. They're fighting Hezbollah. That's why they're not leaving Lebanon. One Israeli official working for Netanyahu commented that they will not leave until Hezbollah gives up all its weapons. It is unclear if Hezbollah will do this, but their leader, Naim Qassem, called the peace deal a great win. Iran's foreign minister Abbas Araghchi said that Israel has 60 days to withdraw. If they don't, the agreement is officially null and void. It means, in other words, cancelled. The second part of the agreement is about each nation's sovereignty and territorial integrity. Simply put, the US cannot tell Iran what to do in their own country and vice versa. It contradicts something, which I'll tell you soon, that J.D. Vance said. That's applicable to anything not covered by the agreement, of course. Now, third, they will have 60 days to talk about the actual final deal, but they can extend this if both countries choose to. That 60-day countdown began yesterday actually, but Trump said that this is a hard deadline. He explained, could take longer. Well, it just contradicts exactly what he just said. But anyway, I don't view it as hard, he says, just as long as he means Iran, are behaving. I really don't care that much. Go and decipher that message. For the fourth and fifth paragraph of the deal, of the memorandum, right away, well, supposedly, the Strait of Hormuz, which you all have a headache from already hearing, officially opens. This is a massive win for the entire world, obviously. That's what they say, since oil tankers can now freely pass through. Or so they think. Iran agreed to clear military mines from the water within 30 days. But the US will stay. They will stay. They will only leave 30 days after the final deal is signed. The blockade I'm talking about. Now, many people want to know what will happen, well, to the toll fees charged by Iran, the $2 million toll fees, right? There is good news and bad news. Depends how you look at it. The passage for ships will be free for 60 days only, though. After 60 days, you're going to have to pay. Iran's Vice President Mohammad Reza Aref said that Iran will still charge money for ships to use their water path, but instead of being called toll fees, they will be called service fees. Found a new way. Oman also mentioned, in the document obviously, as a possible partner for administration of maritime services, which they're going to partner in charging these fees. Historically, though, nobody was charged for passing through a strait, and it's actually against international law. Since the service fee amount has still not been confirmed, we still have no idea exactly how much this will affect our oil prices in the future. Saudi Foreign Minister Prince Faisal bin Farhan Al Saud was not happy about this Iran management of the Strait of Hormuz. He said that before the war, ships sailed freely. He added, therefore, I do not understand why, following the conflict, we should accept some new arrangement that would be imposed on the strait. Lawmakers from both sides in Washington are also very angry about this. Republican Senator Bill Cassidy even called the deal the worst mistake with another country in decades. He believes that this gives Iran more power in the future. Some are even blaming Vice President J.D. Vance for this terrible Iran deal. Well, if you think about it, he suddenly started celebrating, going on every single news channel and interviewer. Even The View, who hates the Republicans, hates Trump so much, interviewed him. Yes, Whoopi. You know Whoopi? One Republican lawmaker said conservatives on Capitol Hill are stunned, and he said that Trump won the war militarily, but Vance is now negotiating away those gains through a bad deal. They're blaming it on Vance. Even Reza Pahlavi, the former Iranian crown prince, right, who was very happy about Trump's moves and everything, who was exiled to the US, seemed or is very disappointed. He said 40,000 Iranians haven't died in the span of 2 days for a nuclear deal or for some Strait of Hormuz to remain open. They have died for the sake of what? Of liberty and freedom and democracy. And they've been oddly absent of any negotiation. Have you noticed? Not a mention. Not only that, they actually said that the US has to stay out from the internal happenings. Now on the to point 6, 7 and 10 and 11 of the agreement, which all talk about money, sanctions. First is the money to rebuild Iran. This was the estimated, or at $300 billion with a B. But it will not come from the US. That's what Trump says, at least. For example, one official said that if Iran behaves, Emirati authorities can build power plants for them with that money. Anyway, this will be further talked about during the next 60 days. So let's go to the second one, which is the removal of all sanctions. But before we do that, I might point out something interesting, that if you think about it, that most of the US and Israeli targets in Iran that they achieved by bombing was military targets. So what exactly is the $300 billion going to rebuild, might you ask? Okay, this includes, though not this, but the next part of the sanctions that they talked about in the deal includes penalties made by the UN Security Council as well. And thirdly, Iran will be allowed to sell all its oil and other related services like insurances and other things. Finally, the US will unfreeze Iran's money, which is $24 to something billion, make fully available for use. The terms of this release of all these funds, however, will still be discussed, they say, on the MOU. It's not a deal, it's an MOU. It's not. You have to understand. A lot of concerns were also raised because of this part of the agreement. A 2015 speech from Secretary of State Marco Rubio himself, who was still a senator at the time, was also reposted online. Back then he said that Iran will immediately use the money it is receiving in sanctions to begin to build up its conventional capabilities. It will establish the most dominant military power in the region outside of the United States, and it will raise the price of us operating in the region. Some also pointed out that most of the Iranian targets that were struck were military buildings. So in other words, he is very right. That's what they will do with the money. You can't trust this nation, this Iranian nation right now, the regime, the government, very untrustworthy. So one commander from the a commentator, not a commander, I made a mistake. A commentator, a journalist asked, the MOU's $300 billion reconstruction clause is to reconstruct what again? So again, they were very concerned about this, especially after hearing this Marco Rubio speech from 2015. On another point, in the agreement, yes, is probably, the most important one. It says that Iran can no longer buy or produce nuclear weapons. Okay, fine. Our report the other day on Edge also confirmed that, right? Any stockpile Iran currently has will be down-blended. We spoke about how uranium is made, like how a nuclear bomb is made. We spoke about it yesterday. So if you want to hear a very detailed, I explained it to a kid kind of, to understand exactly what uranium does and how it's down-blended. It's literally watered down. It has to be cleaned, by the way. Uranium taken as is from the earth is dirty, and in order to make it nuclear capable, like to make a bomb out of it, you have to. Okay, I spoke about it yesterday. Go back to yesterday's thing, and you'll hear it. Okay, so they say that the stockpile that the Iranians have right now has to be down blended at a minimum, and the International Atomic Energy Agency, which is IAEA, will make sure it does so. Officials talk about that the nuclear program will start this Friday in Switzerland. Some mountaintop resort. That's where they'll finalize it. While waiting for the nuclear talks to be finalized, both sides agreed to maintain the status quo. This means that Iran will not be punished for its existing highly enriched uranium or nuclear dust at this time. The last parts of the agreement are about the process of reaching the final deal. Aside from making a mechanism, like a team, they're going to set up a team who's going to to make sure that who's going to monitor the deal's implementation, to make sure that every side does what they promised they will do according to the Memorandum of Agreement, the Islamabad Memorandum of Agreement. Pakistan, yeah? I think he's going to get the Nobel Peace Prize next year. I believe so. Pakistani, he's very proud of himself. Or J.D. Vance, one of the two. Anyway, the final document will be backed with a UN Security Council resolution. Okay. Now, lawmakers from both sides in Washington are very angry about the deal, mainly because Trump allowed Iran to keep their missiles. Yep, but Trump said, quote, I mean, they have some, because other people have some, so you gotta have some. Suddenly, he changed his course. I would say if Hashem Hichbad is live power, many people feel like, what happened? How did Trump change his mind from one extreme to the other extreme? He also wrote in Truth Social, these fools who think I haven't been tough enough on Iran when the stock market just hit a record high and oil prices are tumbling down. They're either jealous, bad people, or stupid people, he said. But Secretary of War Pete Hegseth assured that the deal came from, quote, a U.S. position of strength. He added, we're going to be the big stick behind the negotiations. J.D. Vance also explained, quote, President Trump was deeply concerned by the killing of peaceful protesters under the previous leadership. Well, those leaders are now gone, he says. We will see how the new government treats its people. If it continues the same behavior, we will assess our options based on its actions. It's the opposite of what it says in the Memorandum of Agreement. But whatever. Another supporter said that Trump degraded Iran's military like no president before him. He held oil prices during the blockade, and he did it smartly. But people all over the world, including Israel, are wondering why Trump suddenly said yes to Iran's demands. Because of this, the Iranians think Trump is afraid. He's a loser. IRGC Quds Force commander Ismail Qani, who, by the way, was eliminated, right? He was killed. He has 7 lives or 9 lives, I don't know. Americans should know their place, he said, and avoid confronting the Muslims. Trump is trembling, he says. And also the Tehran mayor, Ali Reza Zakani, said, quote, the war with the United States is not over. It is ongoing. We have won the first round, but have not yet pinned our opponent to the mat. Greater triumphs lie ahead, he says, the Tehran mayor. And Ghalibaf himself, the man being called Iran's new rational leader. And one of the people who negotiated this very deal went on Iranian state TV right after it was signed and said, quote, if we truly seek justice, that justice will be achieved. Justice for whom? Justice for Khamenei's death, he's saying. The vengeance of the blood of Khamenei, that justice will be achieved through the liberation of Jerusalem. He says, we must remain committed to that vision. You heard the words? Do I have to say it again? No. You can, yes. And carry out that mission. Said it very clearly. This is what he said today. So this is the partner the United States just signed a deal with. But Trump says that if the peace talks fail, he will start bombing again, of course. On the other side, commentator Tucker Carlson, yes, praised the deal, saying it treats Iran as a real sovereign nation and a great power because it's negotiating directly with the United States. He also said Israel lost the one president it had full influence over. Iranian authorities have informed political prisoner Hassan Maslavi about his death sentence just recently. The 38-year-old Arab was issued a death sentence in 2023, But he and his family were not told about it at all. He was arrested for his membership in the Arab groups opposed to the Islamic Republic. So he thought his time in jail was only temporary. He did not know that he was also charged for something called moharebe, or being basically an enemy against an enmity against God, which puts him in death row. And you tell me what J.D. Vance just said. Explain that to me. How is that going to work? I'll let you think. The Israeli military just released a new map of its security line in Lebanon. The map shows troops are deployed about 10 kilometers inside Lebanon. They published the map after they were told to leave under the new US-Iran agreement. According to the reports, Israel said, that forces will stay in place to remove threats and protect northern residents. CNN also reported that Bibi Netanyahu rejected Israel's role in the deal. He told Trump that their country does not consider itself bound by it. Palestinian Islamic Jihad blames the Trump administration for Israel's attacks in Gaza today. They bombed another place and they killed more people there. They said that Washington shielded Israeli leadership. They said this caused human rights and international laws to be violated. Let's talk about kosher skinny shot. Obviously, you have to understand when it comes to your body, the only thing that violates it is the brain telling you things that are not supposed to be said. You can continue eating challah, bread, whatever you want, as long as your brain knows when to stop. Your brain has to give the right signals. And because of today's, mass production of food and overly processed foods, our brain chemicals are a little imbalanced, and therefore there is a company that has found the trick and found the solution. Kosher Skinny Shot is their name. Call them today. They will guide you through it step by step, day by day, and they will be there for you throughout every single step of the way. 845-456-8924. Kosher Skinny Shot. Again, the number is 845-456-8924. We have a special offer. We partner with Kosher Skinny Shot, and one lucky winner will get a free month by calling my number on 845-671-1775. Again, the number is 845-671-1775. You press 5 and leave your name, telephone number, and Kosher Skinny Shot on Edge, and you will enter to win a free month. And as well, disclaimer, compound medications that are not FDA approved require a doctor's prescription, and for safety information you can ask Kosher Skinny Shot directly. Obviously, ask your provider. Alright, let's continue. A reserve Israeli soldier named Alexander Filin was killed during fighting in southern Lebanon yesterday. This morning, he was 29 years old only and lived in Haifa. Filin died when a homemade bomb blew up right near his group where he was serving. He served as a combat soldier in the 36th Division Command Center now in Lebanon. The other 2 reserve soldiers were also badly hurt in the blast. The fighting over Exilus Agias is getting worse all over Israel. Another yeshiva bucher was arrested at a draft office, and this caused another large protest at Beit Lid. In a rare move, the leader of the Agudas Yisrael Council of Torah, of Chachmai Torah, Talmidei Chachomim, and the Ger Rebbe, and also the Ger Rebbe Harav Rabbi Yaakov Aryeh Alter Shlita, attended the demonstration as well, the Machua. Imre Emes Yeshiva, Rosh Yeshiva, Reb Chaim, or the Mashkiach Reb Chaim Dandarovich addressed the demonstration as well, the Machua, and he said, quote, "We believe that the entire people of Israel were at the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai, Har Sinai, and even those today who are fighting us over the Torah." He's talking about, obviously, the ones drafting and the ones arresting Bukharim. He said their forefathers were also at Mount Sinai, Har Sinai, and they also heard exactly that Hashem says. Those who fight against the Torah will suffer. And Rav Dan Segal said it clearly yesterday. He said it, that the only reason why Trump suddenly changed his heart, making a bad deal, supposedly, is because, people are fighting against the Torah in Israel. It's not a joke, by the way. You think I'm just reporting news from one side. This is news that I'm reporting on a broad spectrum. On Route 4 Bnei Brak, police leaders took an officer off duty after a video showed him kicking someone at the Machua, at the protest, without any, obviously, remorse. United Torah Judaism Knesset member Yaakov Tesla said the police are abusing the people. And he said Haredi blood has become cheap to them. Let's talk about YS Capital Group, obviously. When you want to do something and you want to invest in a property, you need something called money. And case of Minunam, the only way to get money is by borrowing. You can borrow from anyone, but when you borrow from the bank, you need to go through a whole series of paperwork. And also, when you find yourself at the closing table, you need to lay down $10,000, $20,000 to get that, $300,000 or $1 million that you need to get to basically to do the investment. The problem is that you went to the wrong guy. YS Capital Group is the right guy because they cut out the middleman. They have direct lending approvals, fast, also no closing costs. If you've never heard of such a thing, you can find out yourself. Call them. Mention on Edge 718-831-2168. YS Capital Group. One person is dead and 4 others are hurt after a man drove around shooting cars on highways in Kansas City. Another shooting. Police say the shooter is Oscar Sanche Munoz. Right now, police are surrounding a house in a city of Independence where they think he was hiding. During his standoff, the house caught on fire and 5 dogs were killed. Police are telling everyone to call them right away if they spot Sanche Munoz. Indian companies are investing a record $20.5 billion with a B into the United States economy. The money will go towards medicine, manufacturing, energy, and new technology. Officials expect the move to create thousands of jobs and boost production across the country. Trump shared his news on Truth Social, along with a photo of him with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the G7 summit. Now they became best friends. Ukraine launched its largest drone attack on Moscow since the war began. It hit a major Russian oil refinery, which forced all major airports in the city to suspend flights. Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyan said that the air defense shot down at least 194 drones heading for the Russian capital. The strikes caused large fires across the region, and this left at least 17 people injured from falling debris. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said targeting Russian energy sites is a key strategy to force Moscow to end the war. Well, at least 15 people were killed and over 50 others were hurt after the Egyptian military attacked targets in Sudan. They used flying drones and big heavy guns to attack members of the Sudanese armed group Rapid Support Forces, which are RSF. Both spots are in Sudan's River Nile state, right near the border with Egypt. For years now, Egypt has been providing political and logistical support for the Sudanese Armed Forces, SAF, which is fighting a civil war with the RSF. There's a war in Sudan. Recently, the RSF increased its terror activities. So Egypt has been increasing its military support against them to help the SAF against the RSF. Another war in Sudan that you need to know about. Trump announced that the government will help Intel, a company that makes computer chips. These chips are tiny, but serve as the tiny computer's brain. It allows any piece of technology to process, compute, and basically do everything you tell it to do. That's a chip. The company's stock immediately jumped 9% this morning. Trump posted on Truth Social that past presidents let Taiwan and other countries steal American chip factories. But now he said that Apple has agreed to work with Intel to design and build its chips here in America. Trump added, quote, "We decided to help Intel in exchange for 10% of their shares. Is that too much or too little?" he asked on the post. "They were worth around $100 billion when we made our offer, and now they are worth over $600 billion. 9 months, and they've increased in a value of over $500 billion. America's stake is now over $60 billion. When was the last time," he asked, "a president made American money?" The new deal is a big win for Intel, which had a hard time for years after losing its spot as the top chip maker, all thanks to the previous administration. Let's talk about technology that will help you survive. If you know the right people to design your software, the right people that can design a program that will help your business flourish. Protobyte. Did I say Protobyte? 347-354-1237. 347-354-1237. Looks like the background image didn't come up the right place, or I forgot to press YS Capital Group before, with the nice graphics and all. Anyway, it doesn't make a difference, but you get the point. 347-354-1237. You go into proto-byte.com, mention on Edge, see what they can do for you. If you mention on Edge, they will be more friendly to you. I'm trying to give you a good deal. And also, when talking about express and reliability, responsibility, Arrive Express carries that name proudly. Okay? Call, you need a taxi? 845. You need a taxi right now? Write down the number, put it in your fridge. 845-622-1111. Or put my this little excerpt on loop. 845-622-1111, or the Monroe fleet is 845-254-1111. Before I finish, obviously, something close to heart. Obviously, today is Gimel Tammuz. It marks 32 years since the passing of the Lubavitcher Rebbe, Rebbe Nachum Mendel Schneerson, of the righteous memory. You light a candle in his name, daven. Ask him to be made. The Rebbe was known again and again for one message, that you do not bring safety, he says, by giving away and giving in. He warned for years that handing over land and making deals with those who want to destroy us does not buy peace. It only invites more danger. He said that real security comes from strength and from not being a doormat in any nation. On a day like today, with a deal on the table that so many fear gives away hard-won gains, those words feel as sharp as ever. By the way, the Rebbe also gave us the image we can hold on to. In a hall of complete darkness, one small candle is seen from far away. One candle of light pushes away a great deal of darkness. And he actually warned years ago to one of the Israeli politicians, telling him that you should know. You should tell your prime minister and you should tell the presidents. You should talk to the presidents of the United States that the greatest threat, not only to Israel, but more to America, is Iran. Back then they were fighting Iraq. They thought that Iraq is the problem. Saddam Hussein. But really, he said it was Iran who is the real danger. And boy, was he right. Anyway, my name is Gershy Schwarcz and I'm your host on Edge. May you all have a wonderful day. I'm Sirius Tovis on Edge again.
Your daily report of the news of the last 24 hours, powered by Yiddish24, provided to you by The Click.